Right. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Like, this is visionary stories, and I'm so excited to get to share another story of one of my visionaries, one of the people in my community who is a journey partner with me in doing strategic meditation for business, another amazing, awesome, impactful leader in her industry, Wanda Torini. Mama, I'm so excited.
I'm excited to be here and support you.
Yeah, oh my gosh, because this is all about well, celebrating all of the magic that we've created together, but also supporting those in our community who are curious about strategic meditation, like helping to demystify it and like show me the money. Like, show me the money. Like, is this something that's just like kind of woo, or is this like woo? Like
like I like to say, woo.
The ching woo. That's what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. With that, so you're basically the hero of the story, like, and we're witnessing Wanda's heroine's journey, transformation. So if we can rewind the tape, oh my God, I said tape. If we can rewind the video and go back to the beginning before we started working together, I'm curious, like, do you remember, it's been a while, like what inspired you to decide to work with me? Like, what was going on? But what gave you that first spark to be like, you know what? I'm not like, no, I don't just like Victoria. I want to work with this woman. Like, what inspired you?
Well, what was happening before we met, and I actually attended one of your challenges. That's what it is. I'm like, whoo, this is like years ago. I did attend one of your challenges and I thought it was awesome. And then the last day of the challenge, we did a journey. And I was kind of set like that. I'm not going to be able to do this journey thing, but this is super intriguing. And like a little bit of background, like I've felt that there was some sort of, I don't want to say woo, but some sort of connection in my ancestry to meditation. I don't know if we would say shamanism or something, but like there have been stories of like my ancestors having like certain intuition sort of powers. And so that was intriguing to me, and that's it. So anyway, do the journey guided by you. And I remember just tears like flowing down my face as I was having this like vision meditation. It was kind of like a dream that I was having in wake state. I was like aware, but I was like seeing it was just nuts. And it was, and I was really into meditation. So it wasn't like meditation. It was something more. It was like my dream was telling me and showing me things. And it was like strange. And what was different is like when I dream, I wouldn't be able to remember it, but you encouraged us to document it immediately. I actually have it documented, and it was just clear. And so at that moment, I remember looking at it and realizing this is an investment for my business. Right? That this wasn't just like me tapping into my curiosity from my ancestors or whatever. It wasn't like a side thing. It was like, whoa, it could, because you asked a business related question for us to journey on. Right. And so I started seeing how I could use it for that purpose. And that's what blew me away. So before this, it was like, I had this interest. Energetically, I felt like, oh, I'm an energetically strong person. Like I could tell, like when I was happy, like everybody in the room was happy. When I was upset. Everybody in the room kind of felt the thing, and it was like more than other people, and it wasn't me being dramatic, it was like an energetic thing. So I would understand things like that. I would get like visions and ideas all the time. I kind of considered it a curse, right? I was like, oh my gosh, why am I like getting all these visions or like these hunches or like just really strong, what I know now are like intuitive like messages. But for me, it was like static. It was getting in the way because I didn't know what to do with this information. It made me feel like I had ADD at certain points, although I feel sometimes I do, but it's just I didn't have control of these impulses and this information that I was getting. And so you helped me kind of realize that there was something to it to explore, and that I could connect it to my business. So that was the big thing, because I don't think I would have put out the money just for myself, for my curiosity. It was being able to link it to my business, and it clearly showed value and has shown value along the way. So that was kind of like my before situation. And if go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I should have first asked you, oh, by the way, Wanda Toro Turini, what do you do? Like, tell us about your business, like to get a context, because with what you shared right there, this is basically everyone's experience of like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I'm curious because I know I have some ancestry that's like people that were intuitive or connected spiritually or whatever. But I don't know about if I can do it, because this is sounding kind of woo, and I'm not a woo person. I'm more like a science kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I have a doctorate in pharmacy. So I come from a strongly scientific background. I mean, I do believe in the energy that connects us all. So it would make sense that as like a radio tower that I would, and my background is not intending that, but maybe it is, I don't know, subconsciously. But so understanding that from a physics perspective, there's an energy that's coming out, people are receiving, vice versa, right? But just kind of feeling like a victim of that, right? And not really knowing how to understand it or control it or anything. And now I'm not talking about like talking to spirits. I'm just saying like being like inspiration and not being able to direct this inspiration and this intuition instead of it kind of having it go all over the place. So, I mean, ultimately, I remember telling my father actually that I was like, Dad, because my dad is my accounting manager. So I was like, you're going to see this bill. And I just want to actually let you know like what it is. I think you'd be really intrigued. And so I told him about shamanic journeying and that concept. And it was funny because he said, I'm so happy that you arrived at this. I don't know if he said it that way, but I was like, what do you mean? And it was kind of like he was waiting for me to find it on my own path or whatever. And I was kind of like, so because I was thinking that my dad was gonna ask more like about return on investment and being my accounting manager, like, are you sure this is it? But he was just like, I'm happy that you've committed to learning about this. And I was like, interesting. So that was long ago. And now I feel like I just feel like you've given me the tools to be able to kind of tap into that and to use it for my business. That was the biggest thing. Now, personally, I feel relieved because now it's kind of all like started fitting like into place, right? But once again, we're talking about strategic meditation. So, I was looking at it as like, is this something that's going to move my business forward? And absolutely.
Exactly. Well, so then my question is like, are you in the same business now that you were originally? Like, what has happened? learn how to do strategic meditation for business. Like, I love that. So you're saying it's given you more control over your creative inspiration side, but like, what happened to your business? Are you?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the biggest things I actually underlying is that I was able to comfortably identify myself as a visionary. Like, I realized that this stuff that was happening, how it was coming to me, all my thoughts, my creativity, all of this stuff, was not an affliction. It was a gift that I was visionary. And so that changed a lot of different things, because then the things that I felt intuitively as a business I wanted to do, I started exploring more, recognizing that, like, no, I'm an innovator, I'm an inventor, I'm all of these things. And I was doing like traditional consulting for the pharmaceutical industry, you know, kind of staying within this box and like feeling like I had a rash, right? Because I like it didn't feel right. And so I had invented a software back in 2007, launched it in 2009, but it was a texting software called Catch, and it was too early in the market. And so I kind of like had like let it just, I didn't give up on it completely, but I was kind of like, it's there. And I think that by identifying myself as a visionary, I kind of reconnected with what this can do to the marketplace. And I started being a little bit more exploratory. And it was actually called Eco Files long ago, because it was intended to replace eco-friendly brochures. We started using this texting platform to enable speakers to connect with their audience, their anonymous fans. And we're trying to figure out, and we, meaning my husband and I, were trying to figure out, what should we call this new product? Because it's not Eco Files. It's not about being eco-friendly when you're trying to connect with your audience. It's really, you know, something else. And so I remember my husband and I would go on long road trips. This was pre-kids and such. And we're like hours, days, just brainstorming while we're road tripping, and we're like stuck. And I decided to do a journey. And it like, and my husband's an engineer. So I journey on, like, you know, what should be the name of this service and such. And so Journey is giving me like all of these, I feel like it's charades, right? So it's using all this symbolism that I subconsciously should connect. But apparently I was like, like when it was giving it to me at that moment, because I'm just like, what? I don't understand. Like, I'm fishing, and then like there's a net, and then it was like, oh, I'm stuck on a pulley, and it's bringing me all these things. And then finally Journey literally was just like KETCH, catch. And I was like, oh, you're telling me I'm catching things, catch. And I literally popped out of Journey, and I was like, I ran to my husband. I'm like, catch, it's catch. They're catch words. We're catching anonymous fans. It could be used as like a verb, like Googling, like you're catching, and like all of this stuff. And I was like, he's like, yes. And I'm like, baby, I got this from a Journey. And he's always been like, what's this thing, you know? And he was like, wow, all right. Like, all right. And yeah, so Catch came from a Journey. And I mean, I'm like, clear, it had to spell it out for me because it was so frustrating giving me the charades. And I say it, I don't know, my subconscious, right? My subconscious, or was it pulling from another level of, I don't know. Like, I can't explain what it is. I just know that that's what happened. And now I am the founder of Catchwords, the inventor of Catchwords. And people love to use it. Catchwords, catching, easy peasy.
Yeah. Well, by the way, like, how do people access? I know you have a catchword yourself for helping, where it's like turn their talks into lead generating machines. Like, how do they access They
Yeah,
can.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I could definitely share that now. I didn't intend to, but here, like I put together a whole like strategy guide on how I ultimately wound up transforming my talks into lead generating machines, like collecting 25% of my audience to ultimately 76% of my audience every time I was speaking in front of a live audience. So basically, I put together like what I experienced and the things that I strategically had to do to alter it, even without the technology. And so you could text leads to 411-321 if you're in the US. If you're outside, you can use outside of the US, you can use WhatsApp and just text leads to 1-909-741-1321. So that's that. But the name started started kind of like the clarification of the messaging, right? That we want to talk about catching anonymous fans and all of that stuff, right? So it kind of all started just coming together once that was like in place.
Yeah, it's a Google level word, like a Google level brand. And I'm like,
Thank you, Journey.
Journey strikes again. So
I know.
like with that, now that you like receiving that brand, like and where are you now? Like there's, so people can, again, they can text, they can interact with the technology that is superbly branded. Like you are excellent at what you do. You're excellent at and now that like we have the verbiage, right, and the imagery to connect, right, and convey the value of what you're doing, like what have you seen now since really being able to, like, journey is now a way of life for you, and I'm just curious, like,
yeah. So it's most definitely, if there are really difficult decisions to make or lack of clarity, I mean, journey is a major tool or like strategic meditation. It's kind of interesting because I know that in like your style of how you teach us how to journey and meditate, and your approach with us is different. Sometimes we're doing literally guided meditations with you, or we're doing a journey where you prompt us with the intention, right? Because what I've learned is that the most valuable journeys for me are when I actually clarify that intention instead of just, and I know that you've said, like, sometimes you could say, Journey, what do you want to tell me? Or what should I know today? Right. Which I've done as well. But I find it is much more effective if I have something that I'm inquisitive about that I want to solve. And so being able to tap into that tool is critical. I mean, it's a game changer. And it gives you a greater sense of confidence in your own like internal compass, right? Where when you start feeling that intuition, those hunches and stuff, and you're like, okay, let me settle in on that and journey on it to figure out, like, why am I getting those hunches, right? And to get a little bit more detail around it. And it's not all answered in one, but it starts kind of unveiling. But the end result is a confidence in your capability to tap into your intuition, right? It's no longer a mystery. So I think that's really, really important. It's very empowering. And then for me as a visionary, like, I was really, really happy that you started focusing on the hashtag visionary and all of that stuff, because that was important to me. I'm woo-ish. but I'm a scientist and I'm a nerd, and I don't consider myself like a woo-y person, right? But I do consider myself a visionary, and I've always referred to you as our Professor X of the X-Men, right? Like, you have helped me figure out how to optimize and use my power for good. But yeah, I feel that way. So my thought is, like, if somebody kind of feels like, yeah, there's something special, yes, everybody has an aspect that's special, but sometimes you feel like, there's a little extra. I'm a little extra special in the like, I feel you when you feel in the room. I understand what you're saying. I'm very intuitive. Like, I get you. I get really good visions, creative ideas. I see problems. I kind of tend to think of solutions or try to think of a solution rather quickly. That's like a special breed of people, right? And so I feel like without really focusing on amplifying that, you're like throwing away your gift. You're throwing away your tool. And if we're able to understand it and utilize it well and tap into our intuition, then we're able to serve people better. Like I feel yeah, I feel like it was the right thing to do for me to better understand what this stuff was that I thought was it made me different in a bad way, right? So I was kind of putting it away, like literally, like, somebody hurt themselves and I'm like, ow, I feel that, or I'm like, why am I'm like, this is weird, I just don't talk about it. You help me understand, oh, that's an empathic sense. Oh, that's a thing. Didn't know that was a thing, right? So then now it's saying, oh, if I have an empathic sense, like what else, instead of me just being hurt when other people are hurt or being like extremely depressed when I feel like other people are hurting, right? Like just how can I manage that and use it better? So yeah, it's just a big difference. I mean, my feeling, I'm just going to kind of continue on here, but I feel like if somebody's like, oh, this is kind of an interesting thing, this strategic meditation, that if you have that feeling about yourself, then yeah, there is something that's untapped, right? Unless you're working with something, and that's why somebody, and that's why, like when you called yourself Sensei, I was like, yeah, she's my teacher. You're not coaching me on how to, you're teaching me methods and techniques on how to tap into my senses better, trust my senses, trust my intuition, and actually see things that maybe I had been pushing back and hiding, before, because I didn't understand what it was that I was receiving.
Like it's the difference, like just to continue with the X-Men metaphor.
Yeah, I like it.
Dr. Jean Grey, right, versus Phoenix, where okay, there are parts of you that that creativity or that feeling, that rapport, that connection, that emotion, that passion that you have to connect with and understand others, and as well as to see the bigger picture and come up with high ideation, right, and be very futuristic, taking over and becoming destructive in like a phoenix sort of maelstrom way, versus yes, you can still be very scientific and help people, like have the logical brain, but like bring that power, that firepower in with the scientific side of you as more of like a Dr. Jean Grey, for those who follow, right, X-Men.
I was like, that's pretty good. Yeah.
That would be Wanda. Yeah. And so like, this is super helpful. I sense like an awareness of people who are watching who aren't like woo woo people, but there's like, they got some woo in there, but they're not like, crunchy yoga waving rainbow flags necessarily. Creativity and like unlimited, untapped potential. Their ability to be innovative and inventive, and to like really be on the cutting edge, and to have what I'm hearing from what you're saying, like to have this strategy as well as this community for supporting, tapping into that and harnessing that as like, like the steam power, right? The difference between running around on horseback versus, okay, I have a steam powered engine. Like I'm now harnessing even more natural forces, to my capacity to do work. So is there anything else like with that like you wanted to share? Maybe we didn't.
No, I just no, yes. No, yes. I think I've always been a big fan of what you do and the value that you have brought not only to me personally, but to our business. But you're a whole person. So obviously all of these things that you're learning to do for your business, and thank goodness you could write it off, right? Because it's for your business, but it just allows you to connect yourself to who you are and your full potential on all levels and personally as well. And so I think an amazing side effect is all of the work and improvement in my personal life as well, and confidence. And it's just a fantastic gift that you have. I think what I want people to, or whoever's listening to really understand, is that that concept of having untapped potential. And it, like, so if you're listening to this and you've even gotten all the way to this part, then I mean, it's because you're intrigued. You have some sort of untapped potential. And I'm not talking about somebody who's struggling to get to 5 figures, 6 figures in their business, which it could be that, but you could also be at any level. You could be making 7, 8, 9 figures, but there's always this untapped potential. And that alarm is telling you that you need to take action. That means actually I have to go pick up my daughter from the bus stop. But yeah, so it just means that there's more left, and take action on the alarm. It's calling you.
Oh my goddess, you're the best. And
I'm sorry, I need to shut that off and pick up my daughter.
Perfectly fine. This is real life. Absolutely. And for everyone that is watching in, like, make sure that you support. Text leads to 411321 or 19097411321. Check Wanda. And if this speaks to you, if you're ready to hop in, make sure that you come on over to strategicmeditation.com or click the link wherever it is on this screen, and we will see you on the other side.
Bye. Bye.